My new website is online. Take a look about it. I will let it in descriptions. You can find also a lot of news from the audio wars, and not only, and also we publish my articles. I just finished to write one for the home theater world. But today we are going to review the HDV820 Headphone Amplifier and the 800S headphones. Probably one of the most controversial headphones among users. So today I want to speak about it, what is my opinions. It will be a review not only about the 800S but of the complete setup with the HDV820 Headphone Amplifier. So I think it will be funny. Take 10 minutes and let's speak about it after the jump. The HDV820, as you can see, is coming in this beautiful solid design. It's really modern, elegant, and I just love it. You will not need so much space on your desktop. It is of course bigger than my HD2 DAC of RME, but is a perfectly desktop size. Is today the only amplifier from Sennheiser. We had the HDV600, something like that, if I remember good, that now is discontinued. On the front panel we can find the volume control. On the right is perfectly smooth, really beautiful. On the left we can find the, as soon you turn it on, it will be illuminated with this beautiful white LED. Then we have the XLR and single-ended output, balanced output XLR 4-pin, and two balanced output 4.4 Pentacon connections. Really have all the connections for all the headphones that you need. And in the end we have the input selector, where you can switch between digital and analog input. Analog input we have unbalanced and balanced, and for digital we have USB, optical and coaxial. Rubber fit, really beautiful. It's not so much heavy, but also not so much light. And when it is in power on and you are using it, is just slightly warm, not so much. It's very interesting to see that we have a balancing output on these headphones amplifier. That means that if you would like, you can use it like a digital to analog converter for your hi-fi system. And here we go, you will have a complete hi-fi setup plus the headphone amplifier. As always, unboxing new gears was a real pleasure. I always feel like a baby that received his first game. A new headphone amplifier that will be my next setup for the next month. And now let's take a look at the specification and how it is inside. The HDV820 is coming with a high quality digital to analog converter, the ESS Sabre 9028 Pro audiophile release. So you got 32-bit capability, 384 kHz sample rate and DSD up to 256. Is rated to deliver 480 mW at 1 kHz 600 ohm load balanced. Any problem absolutely to drive any type of headphones. Biodynamic 600 ohm was play very loud. My hi-fi man HE6 that is actually very hard to drive because it has a very low sensitivity, no problem, was playing very loud. And actually I tested also with Dan Clark a Ion 2. That's headphone actually has a very low impedance, and with some headphones amplifier could be really difficult to drive it without distortions. Absolutely any problem. Also, if you look in the specifications, Sennheiser actually is saying that it will be better to don't play headphones under 16 ohm, and this was 13 ohm, and I had absolutely any problem also at high volumes. Setup that I use is really easy. I use the USB connections, normal cables. I'm not for expensive cable with my computer, and I generally use Tidal and foobar with the Wasabi driver. Do not be confused with Wasabi, that's probably another things. Your computer should recognize the HDV820 without any problem. In any case, it's coming with a beautiful USB stick, so thanks Sennheiser for that. You just have to plug it and install the driver, so really easy. From Tidal, if I can suggest you a configuration, just select the HDV820 and on the right you have more settings. If you click on this, you can select the use exclusive mode. This allows Tidal to have the exclusive use of the audio device for the better quality, but probably you know it already. I was testing the HDV820, of course not only with the 800S, but also the heaphone HE6, Dan Clark Ion 2, the close one, Beyerdynamic DT 990 600 ohm, really bright, and the Focal Utopia. It's really important to test headphones amplifier with a lot of headphones to really understand the overall tonality and quality of the headphone amplifier. My first track was Radiohead, Karma Police. God, I love this track. I really remember when I'm young when I listened to this track. Bassline was incredibly focused and precise, and absolutely not fatigued if compared with other amplifiers that could be a little bit warm and giving you this fatigue bass, and you notice it in Karma Police. But the bass of the HDV820 was really neutral and absolutely perfect. Voices and instruments on the HDV820 are extra clean and clear. And the trumpet intro in Sir Duke of Stevie Wonder are represented with a beautiful air and space, and with just the enough touch of crispiness that is giving you this magic flavor. Another one song that I really enjoyed is David Beck, Blue Rondeau à la Turque. The piano intro was reproduced with an incredible tempo, very smooth transient response, where with other amplifier could sound a little bit fatigued and punchy, with the HDV820 was sounds really romantic and warm. So small things from my overall neutral sounds tonality, but there was one thing from where I was really impressed, and that was the soundstage of the HDV820. In the Phil Collins songs In the Air Tonight, at 3 minutes with Phil Collins says, there is this effect coming from the right to the left, and in the HDV820 is unbelievable. It's something like a train that is coming, running through your head. So it's absolutely beautiful and a little bit more emphasized than other amplifiers. Today is a beautiful sunny day and I have to shut the video review. And now let's speak about the 800S. They look really futuristic, right? I really like it how they look. And what I like that is a headphones that is unique. I like to call it invisible headphones. That's our invisible headphones, because as soon you wear it, you just don't feel it. Sometimes I'm just listen for some music and you don't feel it. That is something really crazy, because it's really different from any other type of headphones. Very light and large, so also if you have a bigger head than mine, you will not have any problem. Look this, how can reach bigger head. And something strange that I noticed with these headphones, that actually the pad, as you see, are a little bit teeny, but as soon you wear it, also if you do like that, you open it a little bit, you don't have the feeling that you are losing too much in the sound quality and actually on the bass. So that's meaning that it's really strange to see headphones that don't need this very good ceiling to work properly. If I'm not wrong, this headphones was primarily designed for audio engineer, and then audiophile just love it how it sounds. Overall materials look really beautiful. Also the ear bands, look this. That's absolutely fantastic. Yoke can rotate, as you see, in all directions without any problem, and as I said, that's an invisible headphones. You wear it, you just don't feel it. I still remember the first time that I played some music through the 800S was like a shock. Was this soundstage? It was something absolutely crazy. It's like when you play PlayStation 1 and then you move on PlayStation 3 or 4 when you have this open world. The only one thing that I probably don't like is the input connectors that are a little bit difficult to remove, but are like that. And you have the females on the 800S, thanks God, so if something is happened on the pins of the cables, you have to just replace the cable. It's like that, so Sennheiser, I probably know about it, and I hope to see an improvement in next ones. Sennheiser, I think a lot of people are waiting the HD900. Anyway, overall tonality is probably slightly analytical, with a small emphasizations between treble and mid-range. Still very neutral, but when instruments become very clear and more complex, the detail levels and the overall representations is crystals and unique. So absolutely transparent. About the bass, good sounds at first touch a little bit too much laid back, inoffensive or flat, but in my opinion it what makes these headphones so special. But let me break it down. Bass has a sort of roll off or lag around 40 Hz. But for examples in Limit of Your Love of James Blake, I can still feel the sub bass literally shaking deep with rumbles and authority and the air that is moving quickly inside the headphone. So you got this bass with the extra textures that is really clean, rather than a bass that has impact and presence. And this is something that is really absolutely only about your favorite, your personal taste. I will call it refined bass. And this is something that I really enjoy. So you could have the feeling that it's like a little bit around 60 Hz and in the sub bass about 20 Hz. But how much really information we have in music around 20-30 Hz. And actually I'm coming from hi-fi systems where you don't even have this type of bass if you don't use a subwoofer, and you have all the problem about the room acoustics. So actually when I'm listening in hi-fi systems, I'm really satisfied and I don't have this bass. So for me the bass of the 800S is really just how it has to be, really refined and clean. I really don't need more bass. If you have Tidal, take a look also of the test track from the Ultimate Headphone Test disc. There is a track that is start from 10 Hz and is moving forward to 10, 20, 30 Hz. And when I test the 800S with the HDV820, I feel the 10-20 Hz rather than when I tested with other amplifiers. Is the HDV820 optimized for the 800S? Probably yes. The mid-range of the 800S is absolutely one of the most beautiful and clear that I never heard. The intelligibility is crazy good, crystal clean with so much textures and resolutions. That is impressive on vocals, doesn't matter if male or female, that are just reproduced with the incredibly accuracy and transparency. Mid-range tonality is open. Mid-range tonality is slightly open. How we can say all this stuff without reading? The mid-range is very open, it's alive, it's got you this feeling that is really alive. I love open headphones. I didn't test the closed version, the 820. I would like to test it in the future. We'll see if I can get one from Sennheiser also to compare it. I think it will be really interesting. So instruments and vocals could sound a little bit more teeny and less warm than other headphones. But I found that actually that are more neutral and natural, of course. And on high frequencies, when you move on a high frequency, instruments sounds with more accuracy, because when you got this presence with warm headphones that sounds probably more warm on the mid-range, you lose a little bit on the trebles and on high notes, something that is not happening on the 800S. Nina Simone in Baltimore, for example, Nina has a perfectly spotlight in this beautiful reg style key song. Or take the beautiful album Eric Satie, the Essential Collection. You got a beautiful contrast between high piano notes and low bottom end. Any type of instruments, trumpet, bass, drum, orchestra. Sounds live, sounds natural, really beautiful. So I really enjoy the mid-range. This is the best mid-range in any headphone that I try. It's a mid-range that is alive rather than other headphones. Treble is energetic, extended, never sticky or busy in complex passages. High notes feel more natural than forwardness in treble, and you got a sense of air surrounding instruments and vocals. Could be slightly fatigue if not paired with the right amplification, and that's really important. I cannot listen with these headphones with my reference RME AD2 DAC. It's really too much fatigue. I mean, after half an hour, I just want to remove these headphones and I can't no more. Treble is just too fatigue for amplifier that are slightly bright, because the RME is slightly bright and not so much warm on the bottom end. But with the HDV820 I could reach 1 hour without any problem. I don't listen more than 1 hour. With any type of headphones, after 1 hour I need a break. It's a resolving headphones that will not have any hesitation to showing you how much well or bad the recording was done. But where, in my opinion, the 800S is absolutely one of the best headphones is in soundstage and imaging. No way to beat the 800S, at least will be really difficult. Tell me one headphones in this price range that could have this huge soundstage without compromise the imaging. If you have it, please let it in descriptions, because I want it here to compare it with the 800S. Please test Yoshi Horikawa. This album is epic. Try the Bubbles track. It's like Dolby Atmos. Or later you can feel exactly what the artist want to communicate. Sometimes I use also test records from Chesky Records, Ultimates headphones test, something like that. When Steve Guttenberg is on this track, explain you everything from this test. Steve, if you are watching this video, you have a lovely voice. I just love it, bro. And you got this track of this man that is rotating around the microphone with playing drums. So you have the feeling when you hear it through the 800S that the soundstage is really huge and the imaging and locations of the drums is always really precise. Absolutely fantastic. About comparison, I compared the HDV820 with my RME AD2 DAC and the SPL Phonitor SE and XE. The RME is absolutely smaller and with a tons of options, but I found that with the 800S is too much fatigue and aggressive. Compared to the Phonitor SE that is more closer in the price range, I still prefer the HDV820 for a more clean sound on high volumes and more power to drive any type of headphones. Compared to the Phonitor XE, stay tuned because the review is coming soon, I found that the overall tonality is pretty similar, with the Phonitor XE superior in the imaging and in the overall soundstage reconstructions. But you will need also a bigger budget because the retail price is higher. Regarding 800S versus Utopia, I still prefer the 800S for accuracy. You got less impact and dynamic in the bottom end, but more on the mid-range with the 800S. Something that classic music lover will really appreciate it. And not only, also jazz lover. So a final consideration regarding why I really enjoy these sounds. I really found this setup perfect and optimized for the 800S because it's giving me two things that I didn't find with other headphones amplifiers. One thing is more presence and authority on the bottom end, and the second thing is less fatigue and actually no fatigue listening sections also when you crank up the volumes at high level. So in the end I really enjoyed this setup. I found that the HDV820 is a little bit more versatile than the 800S, that probably is more focused on a specific target. From Audio is everything. I hope you enjoy the review. Please let me know in the comments if you have any questions and subscribe to my channel to support my work. From Audio is everything. Peace.